Minglawa, welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. We've got the latest news and reports. We're going to hear stories from our reporters on the current status of monetary policy by the central bank. For what's important to know in this time of global health crisis, China's expected economic recovery facing uncertainty as the viral outbreak accelerates. A story coverage on Myanmar Railways striving to operate Yangon-Mandalay rail service within 8 hours. And the last report on 6th Myanmar Food Expo 2020 to be held with multiple functions. We'll definitely get to the reports in a while, but before that, let's take a look at local news. The Union Supreme Court and the Supreme Court of Singapore signed the Memorandum of Guidance as to enforcement of money judgments Monday. Chief Justice U Tun Tun said while the memorandum has no binding legal effect, it must be acknowledged as an important step forward while there exist no memoranda of understanding concerning the enforcement of money judgments between the two countries. Myanmar and Singapore currently have numerous investments between them and show a promise of increased economic cooperation in the future. The recently signed MOG will assist in enforcing foreign judgments of a financial nature. This will help safeguarding the interests of investors from both nations and create better business opportunities for Myanmar businesses as well. Certificates were conferred to trainees who completed renewable energy courses conducted under the MOU between the Ministry of Electricity and Energy and the Embassy of Denmark in Yangon with the support of the Worldwide Fund Myanmar. Union Minister U Win-Kind said the MOU was signed on 9th of February 2018 for more efficient use of renewable energy in Myanmar. The government has targeted 100% of power supply in the country by 2030, as the national electricity distribution has passed 50% in December last year, increasing from 34% in 2016. He added that more renewable energy resources will be used in power generation to avoid environmental degradation. The utility-scale electricity generated from the 40 megawatts solar energy plant in Minbu Township was distributed to the national grid. The 59 students who were brought back from the coronavirus-stricken Wuhan city of China are in good health on the 8th day of their 14-day quarantine at the Gandonadi Hospital in Mandalay. A 3-member medical cover team who took part in the mission to bring the students back is also being monitored and they are in good health. An official of Mandalay Region Women's Committee said Mandalay Region government is monitoring the students for the 14-day incubation period and has well prepared everything for the students, catering, living, clothing, and communicating with their families with the generous contributions of people from Mandalay. According to the phone interview with one of the students who are in quarantine, he said they are in good health and expecting the day to return to their respective homes. That's all with the local news, and here's the first report on Myanmar Today. The Central Bank of Myanmar has been working on implementing the monetary policy which will make the finance flow of the country stable and other finance-related issues. This monetary policy will play an essential role in stabilizing the currency exchange rate, and at the same time, it will be an investment-friendly policy in the country as well. Williamson reports.
The Central Bank of Myanmar stands as an independent central bank and pursues reserve money targeting monetary policy framework in order to achieve its core objective of maintaining domestic price stability according to the newly enacted Central Bank of Myanmar law on 11 of July 2013. Under this framework, Central Bank of Myanmar sets the money supply and reserve money targets and then manages closely those variables or stay within a targeted bound in order to contain reasonable inflation by using monetary policy tools such as setting minimum reserve requirements ratio and conducting deposit auction and credit auction. Thus, the Central Bank of Myanmar has been working on bringing up the monetary policy to stabilize domestic price. Therefore, on 10 of February, U So-min, Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Myanmar, spoke at 15th regular session of second time Pitongsu Hlador meeting and explaining the current status of policy framework being carried out by the Central Bank of Myanmar till September of 2018. Speaking at Pitongsu Hlador, U So-min, he said,
မြန်မာနိုင်ငံတော်ဗဟိုဘဏ်ရဲ့သတ်မှတ်ချက်ပေါင်းအတွင်းအငွေချင်းငွေတို့အပေါ်အတိုးနှုန်းကိုလွတ်လပ်စွာရှင်ပြိုင်လုပ်ကိုင်ခွင့်ပြုထားပါတယ်
When it comes to interest rate of taking loan, all the parties must abide by the policies of the Central Bank of Myanmar, providing free market within the framework of policies, and the same is applied among the banking industries as well. When the deposits are taken, it had to go through the process of deposit auction and credit auction, following the rules of current market. We are also working on reducing the amount of interest loan, and by reducing the interest rate, we can then invite more investors at a lower interest rate from the banks. Usually, in many of the developed nations, the interest rate of banks' loan is the driving force of the economy, but it is different in our country. We cannot have a higher interest rate bank loan from the consumers, as we don't have yet a developed finance sector. In this way, we can invite more of investors for the development of economy. We are also very much careful with the inflation by monitoring the interest rate of bank loan and deposit.
The Central Bank of Myanmar conducts deposit auction when called for sterilization for excess liquidity in the economy and conducts credit auctions when called for injection of shortage liquidity in the economy indicated by the liquidity forecasting framework, which makes a judgment between the forecasted and targeted monetary aggregates. In doing so, the Central Bank of Myanmar is undertaking monetary stability. Speaking on the currency of foreign exchange, Usomin also explains furthermore.
မြန်မာနိုင်ငံတော်ဗဟိုဘဏ်ဟာငွေကြေးကဏ္ဍတည်ငြိမ်ရေးအတွက်တီးခြားရပ်တည်ပြီးရေရှည်အကျိုးဖြစ်ထွန်းတဲ့ငွေကြေးမူဝါဒချမှတ်အကောင့်ထဲပေါ်နေရတော်လည်းပဲ
In order to have a stable currency rate in the market, we need to have separate foreign exchange to stabilize the currency rate domestically. Currently, the Central Bank of Myanmar is conducting deposit auction as a monetary operation with the terms, and it has resulted in a gradually declining exchange rate of a foreign currency, and it is starting to stabilize. With the development of the stock market, the Central Bank of Myanmar is also very much be careful in the inflation of the money, and it is monitoring very closely to avoid high inflation. Though there are some views of little representatives to limit the import of luxurious goods in order to curb the inflation rate, we must also be aware that the policies of related ministerial departments also play an essential role in collaborating together for the development of economy.
This is Williamson for MI Radio.
That's a report on the current status of monetary policy by the central bank. All right, it's time now to check on the weather forecast in Myanmar. There's a ray of brilliant sunshine in Yangon during the day, while the night will be mainly clear. The highest temperature for the day will be at 36 degrees Celsius and the lowest will be at 18 degrees Celsius. There's plenty of sunshine in Naypyidaw during the day, while the night will be clear and cool. The highest temperature for the day will be at 34 degrees Celsius and the lowest will be at 10 degrees Celsius. Delightful weather in Mandalay with plenty of sunshine during the day, but the night sky will be clear. The highest temperature for the day will be at 32 degrees Celsius and the lowest will be at 14 degrees Celsius. We're back to our reports now, and we'll check on the stocks and currency exchange rates after this report. Chinese economists speculated that the viral outbreak in Wuhan will lead to lower China's GDP growth in 2020. The hardest hit sectors were the travel and tourism industries, which usually enjoy a boom during the New Year holiday period. MI Radio reached out to a senior journalist of China Media Group to better understand the viral outbreak's impact on the economy. Akajo has the details.
Chinese economists speculated that the viral outbreak in Wuhan will lead to a reduction of China's GDP growth for the year to 5%, which is down from their previous 6% forecast. Most industries in China shut down over the last few weeks. The majority of the factories were not expected to reopen till February 14th, as tens of millions of human resources remained locked down across the country. The hardest hit sectors are the travel and tourism industries, which usually enjoy a boom during the New Year holiday period. MI Radio reached out to a senior journalist of China Media Group to better understand the viral outbreak's impact on the economy.
There will be an impact on the economy, in particular on some of the industries, for example, tourism, transportation, education, etc. They are supposed to enjoy a strong growth during this most important festival in China, the Spring Festival. Unfortunately, so they will suffer a lot, I would say. As for the degree, to what degree they will suffer from this outbreak of the virus, it's really about how long the situation will continue. If we can bring the situation under control in a relatively short period of time, the industries affected by the outbreak will enjoy a rebound.
China's economy grew by 6% last year, according to Beijing's official statistics agency. The 6% growth is the lowest rate over the span of 30 years and a big drop from 10.2% in 2010. The recovery was expected in 2020. However, the coronavirus makes that unlikely. Data shows that passenger numbers have fallen by 55% compared with the Lunar New Year period in 2019. And given that Chinese tourists spend a lot in Asian countries, the cost of travel bans will be felt throughout the region. If the crisis persists, the global effect will be intense. The Chinese made 173 million visits in the 12 months to end of September last year, and together they spent more than $250 billion. That is more than any other country.
There will be policies, monetary policy and fiscal policy from the central government to support the economy, in particularly those industries that are being affected by the outbreak the most. So more liquidity is already a done thing from the central bank, and more fiscal policies. For example, there's a delayed payment from the company of social insurance, so that including together with other measures, so that there are measures to reduce the burden on the company and to stimulate the economy to rebound from the outbreak.
Tourism is just the start. Entire supply chains, from automotive, electronic, industrial, are starting to creak. China's extraordinary economic surge over the past 40 years has resulted in it becoming the world's second biggest economy with a GDP of $13.6 trillion. China is also central to a diverse range of global supply chains. Much of the world's raw materials travel to China before being turned into a manufactured product. Economists are cautiously speculating that perhaps 0.3 percentage points may be shaved off global growth, though it would remain somewhere around 3% mark. He also provided updates on the viral outbreak across the country.
I expect the situation will continue for some time until we see the peak point. Some also good news is like the fatality rate is relatively low, I would say. In Wuhan, it is about 4.1%, and in the rest of the nation is about 2%. Well, the Wuhan situation is different, in particular in the city of Wuhan, was overwhelmed. There's not enough beds, there's not enough medical supplies, there's not enough even medical staff.
As of Monday, the total number of deaths in China hits 908. Across China, 40,171 people are infected, while 187,000 are under medical observation. It is reported that 3,281 patients have been cured and discharged from the hospital. This is Agajo reporting for Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on China's expected economic recovery facing uncertainty as the viral outbreak accelerates. And now we have information on currency rates from Myanmar's central bank. $1 is at 1,450 kyats. 1 Chinese renminbi is at 207 kyats. 1 euro is at 1,588 kyats. 1 pound sterling is at 1,870 kyats. 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,044 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 349 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 46 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 20 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,568. Silver is at $17. And Brent crude oil is at $50. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI is at 11,500. MTSH is at 4,100. MCB is at 8,400. FPB is at 23,000. TMH went up 50 and it's at 2,900. You're with Myanmar Radio's Myanmar Today. If you want to watch or listen to more programs from our station, you can just visit our website, myanmarradio.com.mm, or tune in to 96.1 FM in Yangon, 96.5 in Mandalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. But of course, if you prefer to have it within your grasp, you can download our app on both iOS and Android platforms. Search by typing Myanmar INTL Radio and you'll find the app. Download it on your devices so you can listen to our shows on the go. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar today. Myanmar Railways, under the Ministry of Transport and Communications, is now striving for the implementation of operating Yangon-Mandalay rail service within 8 hours, according to the project developed by the ministry. The project has been divided into 2 phases, and the initial phase of the project is Yangon-Tanggu Railroad section. The Myanmar Railways is in the process of dismantling old railway lines, sleepers, and iron beams of the bridge, which will be replaced with new ones. Zoeman tells us more.
The Myanmar Railways, under the Ministry of Transport and Communications, is now striving for the implementation of operating Yangon-Mandalay rail service within 8 hours, according to the project developed by the ministry. The project has been divided into 2 phases, and the initial phase of the project is Yangon-Tanggu Railroad section. The update on the railroad section of Yangon-Tanggu has been initiated since 1st October in 2019. It was set by Uzo Myolwin, Assistant Manager of Division 7 of Myanmar Railways. One way of the railroad was closed at the time when the upgrades on Yangon-Tanggu Railroad section started. The Myanmar Railways is in the process of dismantling old railway lines, sleepers, and iron beams of the bridge. After that, new railway lines, sleepers, and iron beams will replace all old ones.
Yangon-Mandalay Railroad section is divided into 2 phases. The first phase of Yangon-Mandalay Railroad is 166 miles long, and it has begun since 1st October in 2019. The task is not normal, and it is meant for existing old railway lines, concrete sleepers, and iron beams. All railway lines, sleepers, and iron beams have to be dismantled, and they must be replaced with new ones. It is an essential task. Motor road is more dangerous than the railroad. Motor car speed is within limits. Train speed is 100 km per hour. A train can reach Mandalay within 8 hours. It is not possible for a car. A car can't exceed limited speed. Train gives passengers comfort. Any elderly person or any sick person, whoever they are, can get up for a walk on the train and go to toilet freely. The most important point is safety. A car can't rival a train for safety. It is our safety.
The inner railroad between Jimyandai and Pagoda has been already finished, but the outer railroad is yet to be done. The railroad between Insane and Yangon has also been finished. The western part has been completed by about 80%. In the eastern part, the railroad between the Yangon and Bayuasaigon has been done. The inner railroad between Bayuasaigon and Yegu has been also ended. Almost half of the whole project is over.
This railroad repair is expected to be finished in July in 2020. The inner railroad between Yegu and Bazonda is yet to be repaired. So as of 8th February, the outer railroad Yosego and Bazonda will be upgraded. After that, we will carry on with the inner railroad between Yegu and Bazonda, hoping to be finished at the end of July.
At present, the passenger happen to train delay and have to wait for train. The railroad becomes better now than the bus. Train running time will be shorter and coaches are of good quality. The noise and the speed of the train become lesser and the passenger will be okay. I believe that the passenger will later enjoy comfort and convenience to the fullest. I usually go on a highway journey by car. I don't take train because it is long. For instance, if I go to Mandalay, I prefer to go. I think the train will be better because railroad stations are under repair. Those who are taking the train will be on the increase. Safety is the most important thing, so the passenger will choose the train in moving from one place to another. Train can provide full safety for the passenger rather than car. I hope that the traveling people will have a peace of mind if all the upgrades are over.
The railroad upgrading project has been planned until 2023 February. The work procedures have been conducted in accordance with the designated period. The project will last for about 3 years and 5 months. The traveling people will come to know good results as the project is to be upgraded to some degree.
That's a report on Myanmar Railways striving to operate Yangon-Mandalay rail service within 8 hours. And here's the last report on 6th Myanmar Food Expo 2020 to be held with multiple functions. Myanmar Food Processors and Exporters Association is to hold the 6th Myanmar Food Expo 2020. About 120 institutions will display over 180 booths at the expo, which will be organized at Myanmar Expo Hall in Yangon from 14th to the 16th of February. DJ Zin reports.
Myanmar Food Processors and Exporters Association is to organize the 6th Myanmar Food Expo 2020 at Myanmar Expo Hall in Yangon from 14 to 16 February. The purpose of the expo is to help the local food institutions develop, to exhibit the local and international food products at one place in terms of high standard, to promote the quality products to the consumers, to connect the business to business, and to analyze the infrastructure and techniques of the food productions.
We have 5 purposes to organize this expo, but I want to highlight one main point, which is to gather and showcase the local food products at one place. Unlike the previous one, we have changed the venue for this year's expo. The expo will take place at Myanmar Expo Hall at Takeda Township, which has a wide space and where we can hold the expo in line with the international standard. This expo is not just a carnival. Besides business-to-consumer connection, we also aim to support business-to-business connection.
The exhibited products include food, machines, packaging, chemical suppliers, nutrition supplement, commodities, and traditional medicine.
In this expo, there are not only food products, but also supporting industries of the food production. These supporting industries include machines, packaging, ingredients, raw materials, quality controlling institutions, and more other related organizations. The food productions institutes can have a wider network. For the consumers, they can enjoy promotions provided by the exhibitors.
The exhibitors are local and international investors supporting industries for food production development, wholesalers, distributors, retailers, importers, exporters, technique and advisory services, and relevant governmental organizations. Moreover, there will be a forum on the infrastructure development for food safety and standardization.
အဓိကကတော့ဒီဘေးရန်နဲ့ကင်းရှင်းပြီးတော့အည်သွေးမိတဲ့စားတောက်ကုန်ထုတ်လုပ်ရေးနဲ့ဒီတရားမျှတသောရှင်း
We are holding this forum with the focus point of infrastructure for hygiene and qualified food production and fair competition. The government has to take the lead in implementing these food control infrastructures. At the moment, Department of Research and Innovation has formed Myanmar Accreditation Board with international network. When we examine the foods, we also should have our local standards. So, Myanmar Standard Committee has started working for standardizing not only for food but also for other commodities. There is also a calibration lab in Myanmar. So, I would say the government has established the required infrastructure. We have to implement the processes of standardizing with monitoring system. Then, we will be able to guarantee the quality and safety of our local products.
လူတိုင်းကြီးထွက်တဲ့စားတောက်ကုန်တွေကဘေးရန်နဲ့ကင်းရှင်းကြောင်းအာမခံချက်ထုတ်ပေးသွားနိုင်မယ်
Over 180 booths will be displayed by about 120 different institutions at the 6th Myanmar Food Expo to be held at Myanmar Expo Hall in Yangon from 14 to 16 February. That's all for now. This is Dora Suisin from MI Radio.
That's all the reports on Myanmar Today. You know, the world is constantly hit by natural disasters, facing health crises with virus outbreaks, climate change at its peak, animals dying at an alarming rate, and things are escalating so quickly that I believe we should start doing something to save the only planet we live in. And to keep up with what's happening around the world, let's take a turn to some international news. What you're about to see or hear are stories from inside a special quarantine ward in Wuhan. Doctors, nurses, and ordinary citizens are on the front lines in the battle against the coronavirus. From the second floor to the 15th, the hospital's inpatient building has been converted into a level 3 protection quarantine ward for treating seriously ill coronavirus patients. Whatever goes inside needs to stay inside. That's the rule there. Take a look at the video.
不行的，我们都没有带东西进去，我们都不能带手机进去。我们里面专门配了一台那个手机，我们自己，我掏钱买了一个台手机，1850。我自己买了个新手机放在里面，那个问题是永远都不会拿出来的。我的脸都破了。对啊，里面都是水泡，不然的话我这样戴没法戴，太疼了。领导给我们用了那个纸尿布。现在穿了吗？今天。Who hasn't been home for 2 weeks.
我是刚给那个一个病人上了一个尿管，然后把那个。
The Group of 77 and the United Nations expressed full support to China in its fight against the novel coronavirus at the 58th session of the Commission on Social Development at UN headquarters in New York. The group emphasizes the international community should work together in a spirit of responsibility, transparency, solidarity, and cooperation. They also stressed the importance of avoiding the spread of discrimination, stigma, and disinformation to bring this outbreak under control as fast as possible. They emphasized the role of the World Health Organization in global public health preparedness and response. They call for respect for the professional guidance of the WHO regarding the containment of the outbreak. Nigel is now a resident in the city of Wuhan. Some may know him as Mr. Bean. I just got a video sent to us from the newsroom about Nigel and how he is going about his daily life in Wuhan. So I thought it'd be great to share it with you here. Take a look at the video.
Hiya, I'm Nigel, and you may know me as Mr. P. I'm here in Wuhan right now. One night, I heard a lot of people shouting out of their windows in the community. Come on, Wuhan, we are together. We're all the same. We all have a heart. We all have feelings. We're all together. So come on, Wuhan. Come on, China.
Well, that's a wrap, and thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Wash your hands, wear your masks, drink lots of water, and keep yourselves fit and away from any possible virus. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.